the world would literally be a better place. Like people wouldn't be so freaking angry and jealous and not taking accountability for themselves. If you can get like your plan to get this into schools, and if you can get this into a child at a young age, how beautiful are they going to grow and not have all this trauma and conditioning? I would never want to go back in time, but if I could, I would want to know all of this when my son was a toddler, because he's got a negative mindset.
If every school and every business owner
Yes.
learnt the power of the mind, learnt shadow work, learnt how to regulate their emotions, learnt all of those things, not only like businesses thrive, but they thrive because of the human thriving. So we have been playing a little bit of a series over the last few months, So You Want to Be a Coach, and I am joined by someone who I vouch and completely support as an incredible, intelligent, caring, successful coach within the beauty industry. And so I want to welcome Kelly Williams, and I want to ask and for you to share with anyone listening who is really interested in becoming a coach. How did you come to this point? What's been your journey in business? And what was it that made you decide that coaching was a next step for you?
Oh, thank you for the lovely intro. Well, yes, Kelly Williams. A little bit about backstory. I've been in the beauty industry for, God, nearly 16 years now. I was bullied at school. I wanted to go and do beauty straight from school, but the girls that bullied me went and done it. So I went on a different path and then had my son and then put myself back through college to go and get my beauty certificate. Worked for people for years. I had no time freedom. I missed my son growing up. I couldn't go to his like sports days and everything. And then during 2020, in the lockdown, I lost my job via text message. So yeah, I spent that 3 months creating my salon, which is House of Papa. And as we came out of the lockdown, I had a space, all my equipment and clients already booked in, and then it's just grown from there. I went from renting a room, I temporarily took the salon to home to work around my son more, and now he's grown, he's nearly 18. I bought my own commercial salon August last year, and I built it to 6 figures.
Oh my God. This is like, I forget how quickly you did it, because I think it was around the time just after COVID that I met you, and you had just started House of Harper, and it took off so quickly. And I remember talking to you, this was going back to when you started. And I remember having a conversation with you where you were like, oh, I just love talking about mindset and helping women to feel more confident. And you help them with beauty and appearance, but you wanted it to be so much deeper.
Yeah.
Just finished the Mind School Method. You've been incredible to witness in terms of watching you practice your coaching skills, because you're so passionate about beauty. You've done so well in the beauty industry. Was there a moment where you were like, shit, I actually want more tools to go deeper, or I want to help women in other ways?
Yeah, because I very much struggled with my mindset. And it all stemmed from like the bullying from childhood and my upbringing. I think I met you. Yeah, I first done your Miss Money Mindset, then I went and done Level Up and then the Mind School. But my brother back in 2020 actually became a business coach. And I was one of the first ones on his program, and seeing how he was helping people that side of it, that's what kind of drew me in. And then I kind of like stood on the outside a little bit, like, oh, it's something I want to do, but I don't know if I can do it. And then, yeah, but I coach my clients all the time, and everything I've done with my mindset, my money mindset, like the shadow work, everything that's got me to where I am now. I don't want women to struggle like I did. That's my thing. I really want to help women not to struggle like I did.
Wow. And so how did you struggle before you did all this work? If we go to like the before,
Yeah.
what was your struggle before you did all this work?
I had such a negative mindset, and it came from my parents. as a
Mm,
child, and then watching my
mm,
brother obviously do all the work on himself, and then your limiting beliefs around money. And yeah, and I was always very much like, if something went wrong, it was like, oh, the fucking world hates me, the universe hates me, everything's always going wrong. But it was me in my mind bringing it to me
mm,
all the time. Yeah, so
mm.
your mind is, it's unbelievable how much it controls you and your life, and what happens to you in your life as well. And I had quite a lot of really terrible health issues prior to COVID. And that
Yeah.
really stemmed with my mindset as well. It was a lot to go through, but I didn't have the tools back then with my
Mm,
mind to actually bring me
mm.
through it. I was very much, probably for about 3 years, in victim mode. I just went out partying every weekend, and yeah, I'm the fun one, like trying to forget all your problems during the week. And it's so toxic and unhealthy.
Watching you over the years, you've just completely like taken responsibility. That's the thing that I love. Like you just said, it was all me.
Yeah.
And sitting in victim mode, you went from there to like it's testament to the work, the fact that you went from that place to a six-figure business,
Yeah.
learning to coach and support other women, standing so much more confidently too. Like I saw when Kelly came back, and it was just
Yeah.
like, there she is. She's so cheeky and she's so sassy and she's so much fun. And you were taking up space. And I think it's just so nice to witness someone do the work, take responsibility, and then completely change their reality too.
Yeah.
How, before you did that, how did that play out in your business when your inner child was bullied by girls?
I don't know. I got very good at putting a mask on
Yeah.
and showing up and putting a mask on, but then I would go home and there would be like tears, or I would shut down and I'd be quiet, because I did find it quite difficult with, especially, not especially like older clients, but because I never looked my age either. So I
Mm,
got spoken down to, and it wasn't until
mm,
I said, like, at the time, what, my son would have been 14, 15. And
mm.
they like looked at me and they were like, how old are you? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm nearly 40. And they're like, oh. And then their demeanor completely changed with me. So it was
Wow.
very much just stepping into finding that balance between being firm and holding your own, and not
Mm,
coming across as a bitch. I'm
mm.
very much, I take people's energy on.
Yeah.
It drains me as well.
Yeah. What were
Yeah.
the conversations that you were having in your salon where you were thinking, wow, this is actually deeper than just giving? What sort of issues were all these women coming to you with?
Very much the same as what I did as a teenager and like early 20s, like body issues. Like they could not see what I could see. And I always say
Mm,
that to everyone, you can never see what anybody else can see, but
mm,
you've got to do the inner work on yourself as well. Like, if
mm,
you want to go out and have a piece of cake, for God's sake, go and have a piece of cake. It is not the end of the world. Yeah, they were just really hard on themselves, some of them. And it's
mm,
heartbreaking, because I could see a part of me
mm,
in them. And I
mm,
just, like, women are hard enough on themselves. They think they've got to go out to work and they've got to do the kids and they've got to do the housework and the food shopping, and take time for yourself. It's not
mm,
selfish to take time
mm,
for yourself as well. So
mm,
it became very much more, not so much me doing the treatment, was me sitting there and having conversations with them whilst I'm doing the treatment, of how little
mm,
tweaks that they can do to try and help themselves, to make themselves, yeah, feel
mm.
happier.
Oh, that's so nice. That's so
Yeah.
beautiful. You joined the Mind School. What
Yeah.
was it that you felt you needed? Was it a toolkit? Was it modalities? Like, was it to help yourself? Why did you feel you needed a certification?
I was always interested, since you started talking about NLP when we were doing level up, that you were eventually going to do this. And I
Mm,
started like diving more into the NLP
mm,
side. I wanted it more that this was going to give me the tool and that I would be qualified to go out and coach somebody in the world. But when I actually got to the mind school, it did a full 360 and came back, and it was actually a lot of work that I still had to do on myself. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
what did you discover? What was the sort of epiphanies or breakthroughs that you had?
That I still had that hat little girl inside of me, and she surfaced every so
Mm,
often, and I tried
mm,
to suppress it as well. You know, if you, not that you speak your mind, but if you have an opinion or you go against what somebody else saying, I was automatically told pretty much my whole life, oh, she's up herself, she's a bitch, and it made me
mm,
go back in again straight away. And I
mm.
realized it's actually not that, that's their projection onto me. So now I literally sit there and I just scan everyone around me. And when people are doing it, I'm like, at projection, reject, reject, reject. And my husband is like, for fuck's sake, can you stop it?
It's so nice though, because I saw, like I said before, it was like you stopped suppressing,
Yeah.
and it was like, actually, this is who I am, and
Yeah,
I'm okay with it.
exactly. And it's very much like the side you all saw of me in that 6 days. That's the side people only saw of me when I had a couple of drinks inside me. And I got
Mm.
the, you know, when you've had a few drinks, you get really confident. They only ever saw that side of me. And then I
Yeah.
went back to being that, oh, I've got to be this way to fit in. And
Yeah.
yeah, whereas now I'm like, this is who I am. If you don't
Yeah.
like it, then that's on you. I'm quite happy in my own little
Mm.
bubble.
That's so amazing. And it was, I think it was like day 4 where you were like, oh my God, it was like I just slapped you across the face with shadow work. Because I
Yeah.
know that you were one of the people that came in being like NLP, NLP, which is
Yeah.
what most people did. I want to learn NLP. And the whole time, Courtney and I were like, you just fucking wait. You wait. And you were one of the people that just stared at me like I'd slapped you.
Mhm.
What was your experience of sort of going from mindset and NLP
Yeah.
to then move into the emotional embodiment to the shadow work? How did you find that? What was your experience of that?
I found it quite hard to begin with
Mm.
because I've
Mm-hmm.
tried to suppress so much for
Yeah.
so many years. So to try and let that
Yeah.
out of me. Um, but yeah, I think one of the days we'd done a task with Courtney and she had us
Mm.
on the floor with the pillow. We were trying to get all like that rage and emotion out. And I said afterwards, I felt like it got so far and it felt like it was stuck here. And then I was almost trying to push it back down because that's the way I've always, yeah, tried to hold back, keep it all in, which is not healthy. And my husband's always said that to me, you've got to talk about things because I don't. And then it
Mm.
builds up inside, and the most stupid little thing can happen.
Yeah.
And I would go into absolute hysterics, and like months worth of this shit would all come pouring out of me. And then you're
Mm.
emotionally drained for like a week.
Yeah. As Courtney and I are like explaining, energy lives in the body, like it
Yeah.
actually does. And if we suppress it, it
Mm.
just stays there. And
Yeah.
it, like you said, it comes out. But it was like you've been so conditioned to just swallow it and hold it. It was almost like it was being held in your throat
Yeah.
chakra. And it was like
And
your
that's what it felt
voice.
like.
And there's so much in that because your work is to use your voice
Voice.
and to
Yeah.
speak. And you're such a beautiful speaker. This is the other thing. I said it to you just when we were off air. Like, I'd love you to have a podcast because you're such an
Yeah.
engaging speaker and you've got your eyes just light up. And it makes me sad to think that there was a younger version of you that thought that your voice wasn't
Yeah.
important, you know, and seeing
Yeah.
that come back out for you is so exciting. And I also know that you're going to help so many people in the beauty industry because, as you've said, the
Mm.
beauty industry has its own shadows and its own
Yes.
things going on.
Yeah.
So the fact that you're going now and niching into women in the beauty industry that you can help
Mm.
because A, you've got the business acumen and background behind you. You've done very well in business. B, you've
Yeah.
been doing mindset work, shadow work, NLP, adding to your toolkit. What are the things that you anticipate and that you can see are going to be the main issues you're going to be helping your niche with?
Their mindset. They're
Is
really
it
a mindset.
comparison or like,
Yeah, comparison, blocking clients from coming in with,
ooh,
yeah, that's a big thing as well. I see it on a lot of the beauty pages, like, oh, is everybody else really quite like I know this year has been hard on
yeah.
everybody because obviously the state that the world's in
Mm,
financially.
mm-hmm.
But when you feed into that, you're going to block your clients even
Mm,
more. Yeah. So it's
mm,
blocking your clients, comparing yourself to other salons, or why is she doing so well? Why is she doing this? Why is she doing that? And feeling like they're not good enough as well. And they can't jump on their socials and promote themselves and big themselves up of how good they are of what they do. A lot of people
mm.
try and suppress that because they've got that mindset of, oh, well, people won't like me. They think that I'm being big headed. And I'm like, it's not being big headed. You're good
Yeah,
at your job. Shout it
yeah.
from the rooftops. That's how you get your clients. And I get so many clients that come to me like, there's so many people in Perth now that do the body sculpting, which is what I do. But I get all the clients coming to me because they're like, because of the way you speak on your socials, you're raw, you're real, you don't try to bullshit anybody. Yeah. So it's nice that clients can see that within me, and that's why they actually book in with me. They don't book in with me. Yes, I get amazing results, but they book
Mm.
in with me for me.
I just got goosebumps all down my arm when you said they come to me because of how I speak.
Yeah. Oh my God, yeah. I didn't even realize that.
And you've been holding on to your voice all those years
Yeah.
until you did this work and started. It's
Yeah.
like you started just owning who you are and speaking with authenticity, not trying to hide parts of yourself. And people are flocking to you because they can feel that. And
Yeah.
again, it's just testament. You haven't stopped doing the work since I've known you, and it's been a few years now. It
Yeah.
doesn't surprise me that clients flock to you. It doesn't surprise me that you find yourself mindset coaching people without even realizing it,
Yeah.
because you lead first. And
Yeah,
that's
this is hard for me. Like, I still don't realize that now until I actually sit down and think about it. Like I was saying to you before, like I've got a girl that rents a room off me
mm,
and we really bounce well off each other. But I sit there and I'm coaching her. Like she'll
yeah.
say something, I'm like, oh no. And then I
Yeah.
start going into like the spiel about it. And then if she, a couple of times she's printed a couple of things off for me and she's like, oh, I hope you don't mind, but I was just having a nosy. And I was like, oh my God, no, have a look. And she was like, it fascinates me. It, yeah. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
so good. Like you said, with the, everything that you're trying to do, like getting it into schools, I literally think it needs to be everywhere in
Mm,
all businesses, in all
mm,
schools. Like
mm,
it does, it really does need to be in everywhere because we're so conditioned to be a certain way. And if you
mm,
go outside of that, that's when all the fear and everything comes in because you're going
mm.
against the grain then. Yeah.
And you went so against the grain during COVID, the way you just were like, well, I'm going to do a bit, like you did so much that was a bit against the grain. And
Yeah.
you've just been really incredible to witness, because
Thank you.
even when I said to you, like, Kel, your business grew to six figures in like the toughest fucking time in the beauty industry, which is quite competitive. When you do that inner work, your business actually takes off.
Yes,
It,
definitely. I've
mm,
always had that business on the side, but I never had the courage to go full time. And I was told you need to have that stable income. So when it was all taken away from me during that lockdown, I was like, this is it. It's
mm,
fight or flight. I'm either going to do
mm,
it because I'm not going back to work for somebody else again. You know, when you open a business, I threw myself into it. I was
yeah,
working really long hours.
yeah.
And then it got to that stage as well. Now I was just like, you don't have to work more to earn more. And now I work no more than 25 hours a week in my salon, and it's going to be even less. and then I'll focus more on helping women in the mindset and beauty world. Yeah.
Oh my God, I've got massive goosebumps as you're speaking about this. 25 hours a week and your business is doing phenomenally. And you've been, you've gone and you spent 6 days at the Mind School, which a lot of service-based business owners are like, how though? Because how are
Yeah,
you doing this?
because I work for myself.
Yeah.
You can choose your own hours. Like obviously we knew when the Mind School was coming a little bit ahead of time.
Mm,
So I literally just went in to my booking
yeah.
system and blocked the whole week off. And then whatever
Yeah.
clients I had in, I was putting them in before or
Mm.
after.
Wow. I
Yeah.
think there's probably a mindset shift there too for a lot of business owners where it's like, I can do this. Like I have permission to run my business
Mhm.
in a way that suits my life. And so many people
Definitely.
build a business, but then they actually create like a prison for themselves. What impacts have you noticed since I slapped you across the face and we did all the shadow work and all of that stuff? I think you
Yeah.
hated me probably for a moment. I remember you
I
just
was
staring at
drained.
it was so fun though.
Like 2 weeks to get over it.
I know. I actually went to Bali after and just laid flat because I was like, whoa, just processing all it felt like magic. It really did. But
Yeah.
I'm more like, I love the 6 days felt like this bubble of just, oh, it's hard to explain. It's so much connection and so much growth and so much transformation that you really feel like you've been through something together,
Yes.
myself included.
Yeah.
And I felt so close to every single one of you. Like I just have so much love, so
Yeah.
much love. And I feel like you guys probably know me better than most now because
Yeah.
that's how connected we become. But
Definitely.
what I'm also really intrigued, or what matters to me, is the impact after. And so
Yeah.
what's that been like for you?
Like as you know, I came into that not in a great space,
Mm,
person, not business wise, but
mm,
personally.
mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, my marriage has gotten so much better. Like I'm communicating, I put boundaries in and what is acceptable, what is not acceptable. And I've got to give him some grace as well. He's not in this world. He's still
Mm,
that very much conditioned
mm,
from a child. So he does try and listen to me. He doesn't really understand it, but he does try and listen as well.
yeah.
Come to realize like what is acceptable for me and what is not, and what I
Mm,
will tolerate and what I won't tolerate anymore. And yes,
mm,
it can hurt, it can really
mm,
hurt, but you've got to know it's for your highest and best self as well.
mm.
And being able to have the tools to coach yourself through stuff as well. When you have hard times in like your personal life, you can actually coach yourself through it, not just going to be
Yeah.
coaching clients as well. Um, like when I got told the other week, obviously about my frozen shoulder, and they were like, "You've got to stop what you're doing." And the old me would have completely had the biggest meltdown. It would have been the end of the world. And I'm just like, yeah,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I truly believe this has happened for a reason, and what's meant to be will be. And like me and my son, we've always been super close, but
Yeah.
a lot better. He's got a beautiful girlfriend, and she sits there and listens to me. But yeah, it's definitely made me realize as well. One of my highest values was freedom, creating that balance between everything.
Yeah. And you've just done it so well because it feels like even with the frozen shoulder, you're
Mhm.
good to go. You've got the certification, you've got the tools, you've got clients that come to you and need this stuff anyway.
Yeah.
You've probably got clients in your salon right there ready to go that already
Mhm.
know and love you and want this mindset coaching, like you've done it in such a beautiful way. And I hope that I can be the example to you that you do get to build a life of freedom exactly how
Yeah.
you want it. You just keep practicing the tools and you've
Yeah.
been doing that for years.
Yeah.
You're obviously moving into coaching. You've still got a
Yes.
team that you're about to train up, and that's
Yeah.
going to take you outside of your salon, which is also goals for so many people in the beauty
Yeah.
industry to remove themselves from the salon, which you are doing. Thank you,
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah.
I think you were forced. what is it next? Where are you niching, and what kind of people can reach out to you if they need support?
Yeah, so I'm definitely going to be niching for not just women, men, because there are men in the beauty industry as
Yep.
well.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter whether you're new in business, you've been in business 5 years, 10 years, if you're
Mm,
struggling with your mindset, imposter syndrome, money beliefs, then I just want to be able to help as many people as possible overcome
mm,
that. That's yeah,
mm.
all I want. So it is going to be starting with one-on-one to begin
Mm.
with, and
Yeah.
then going into like a group coaching container as
Mm.
well. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me so happy. It makes me happy for the beauty industry, and anyone that's
Yes.
listening, like, guys, I will vouch for Kelly 100%. Like I said, you've been doing this work for years. You
Mm,
haven't stopped, and your reality is a really good reflection of that. Like you said, your marriage has improved, your business went to six figures very fast. You
mm,
crushed a lot of money stuff really early on, which I believe helped you in your business. And
mm.
now you've got so much wisdom to share with people, and
Yeah,
you've put yourself through it. Like, you've been to your own depth. So I know that you can lead others.
definitely. And it's not an easy ride, but when you
No.
come out of it, your life will be so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
100% worth it.
And
Yeah.
if anyone wants body sculpting, where can
Yeah.
they find you? If anyone's like, what is this body sculpting stuff? Where can they find you?
So I am in Quinns, right next to
Yes.
the IGA. So yeah, we've got a beautiful little salon in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just I very much created it as a happy, safe, non-judgmental. You can
Yeah.
come in your pajamas if you want. Yes, the salon
Yeah.
looks really flash, but come in your pajamas if you want. I don't care.
That sounds so nice. I wish you lived closer. We couldn't
I
be further apart
know.
off the freeway.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. Every morning at the Mind School, I'd see Kelly like sitting in her car because you got on the freeway so early, and you'd be like, "Let me out to me. I've had a road trip."
Yeah.
I want to go back to that week. God, it was good. It
Oh,
was
it
so
was
good.
amazing. I must admit, like
Mm,
coming out of that week, I think the first even month, you kind of feel a little bit lost because you're so used to being in that lovely little bubble and being around everyone and the connections you made within it. You do going back into your world, you're kind of like, "Ah, like I want them back."
I know. I think I said to you guys, like, I got this disgust because we spent 6 full days. Like, I
Yeah,
barely touched my phone. It
yeah,
was really deep,
mhm,
like vulnerable,
yeah,
meaningful connections and
definitely.
conversations.
Yeah,
I felt like I would open my Instagram and just be like, "Bleh," like
yeah,
gross. It just
mhm,
felt so.
yeah,
And then it was like, this is the standard now. So it didn't surprise me to speak to you after and hear that there'd been some changes,
mhm,
because it's almost like you've got this new standard of what connection and meaning and purpose and
mm,
safety can feel like,
yeah,
that is now the standard. And anything below
yeah,
that, you sort of have to readjust and
yeah,
decide what you want to make normal. And yeah,
100%.
even I did that.
Yeah, because I very much got told as well, like if you have standards, you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. So don't have standards. But now I'm like, no, I have got these standards, and it, trying to put this politely, like if you are not at this standard, like I don't want to be around it
Hmm. Yeah.
anymore.
And
Yeah.
that comes from it comes from so, like a place of, I know my worth, I love
Yes.
myself. I wouldn't
Yes.
disrespect myself
Mhm.
and my energy, which is so
Yeah.
important. Like, your
Yeah.
energy, your freedom is so important. You
Definitely.
just I
And
think holding a standard is actually the most loving thing you
it
can
is.
do.
And I think people think like, oh, before you go through this work, no, even when you're going through this work, people are like, oh, but I know her, like that's not her, like, but I'm like, you actually don't know me. You know the old heart was conditioned to be a certain way, and now I'm stepping out of that and into who I truly am and want to be. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know me anymore. Like, and I think that's very hard for people around you as well, because you become a
Mm,
person that they don't, yes, it's for the better,
yeah.
but they don't know you anymore. It's
Yeah.
quite hard on them as well. So I've got to give grace and that for people around me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not just me like kind of like stepping back, it's them as well because it's this new dynamic.
That is such a good point. And I actually think what you've just touched on would be something that so many people fear,
Mhm.
myself included. I think my biggest fear going into this kind of work was like, fuck, what if I outgrow my husband? What if I no longer can connect to my
Yeah,
friends and
yeah,
all of those things? And it
yeah,
scared the living daylights out of me.
definitely.
And I found for me personally, most relationships got stronger because I developed the ability to
Yeah,
talk about it, and it was a
yeah,
lot of me taking responsibility
yeah,
and allowing people to meet me instead of
mm,
projecting that they couldn't.
yeah,
But and some relationship dynamics did change, and it is still a
yeah,
period of grief. Like I and
yeah.
we've spoken about this, like it actually hurts.
It does.
And
Yeah,
it does, and I'm not going to sugarcoat that for people.
yeah.
Like
No,
sometimes
definitely not. It does hurt.
it hurts, especially like you and I have probably got that same inner child that's like, no, like
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
you, you know, and it's
yeah.
you've really got to go through that. But
You
on the
do.
other side, it's
Yeah.
the best thing for you.
Definitely, 100%. Because that's what when I first came into the mindset, I told you, like, I was very much in that headspace. I thought I'd outgrown like my husband. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go.
Mm,
And then as we went through that week, you start realizing you actually haven't.
mm,
It's different dynamics now, but communication and having fun together. And yeah, just
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's nice that yeah, we're now in a place where, we're gonna book our first holiday together. Like we have not been on holiday on our own in 16 years.
Oh my God, really? Wow.
Yeah.
I thought, didn't you go to Thailand a few years ago? Oh, was that with
Yeah,
your
but obviously
son?
we had our son with us.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Oh my God. So where are you going?
we're gonna just go to Bali at the
Nice.
end of August, just the two of
Yeah,
us for 5 days, just to get away and de-stress.
yeah,
So I would
yeah,
like to go for longer, but he's 5'0".
yeah,
So
yeah,
I've got to work around his swing as well.
yeah,
Yeah, and then we're booking a massive trip to go back to because I love Thailand.
yeah.
I've got this dream of maybe moving there one day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to go back March next year, and yeah,
Oh,
I'm going to go for like 3-4 weeks,
yes. I'm so
travel
happy for you.
around.
You look so happy. This makes me so
Yeah.
happy. And I'm so proud of you. I'm just so I love watching the way you do life and the way you're so invested in your own development. And because of that, like I said, the beauty industry and the women that you're going to coach are just
Yeah,
so fortunate. You've been living and breathing this for a long time.
definitely. I'm
Yeah.
excited, and thank
Yeah.
you. I say I wouldn't have guessed. If you wouldn't have come into my world all those years ago, I definitely think people come into your world for a reason. I would have probably been
Mm,
still doing the same shit that
mm,
I was doing back then. Yeah,
yeah.
so it's exciting.
So, if anyone is thinking, actually, this is a question I want to ask for
Mhm.
selfish reasons. I obviously promote the Mind School and I'm like, it's for
Yeah,
coaches to become better coaches,
yeah,
which it does. Who would you say the Mind School method is for?
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's everyone because the world would literally be a better place. Like people wouldn't be so freaking angry and jealous and not taking accountability for themselves. If you can get like your plan to get this into schools, and if you can get this into a child at a young age, how beautiful are they going to grow and not
Mm,
have all this trauma and conditioning? I would never want to go back in time, but if I could, I would want
mm,
to know all of this when my
mm.
son was a toddler because he's got a negative mindset.
If every school and every business owner
Yes.
learnt the power of the mind, learnt shadow work, learnt how to regulate their emotions, learnt all of
100%.
those things, not
Yeah.
only like businesses thrive,
Yeah.
but they thrive because of the human thriving.
Yeah.
So true. And so, beauty business owners, if you're not thriving, if you're stuck in imposter syndrome, comparison, money stuff, which we've seen so much of in the beauty industry and the businesses in the beauty industry, money stuff and all of that, Kelly is your woman. Kelly Williams, I vouch for 1000%, and all of her information is going to be in the show notes. I know you've got one-on-one coaching coming very, very shortly, and you have got, like I said, business acumen, business strategy, you've got the mindset, you've got the all-in-one mentor for people in the beauty industry. Yeah. So go check Kelly out. Like I said, I vouch for you 100%. And I'm just so grateful that our universes collided.
Me too. Thank you. Oh, I love you. I miss you.